I'm so on edge at the moment. I had a brutal time trying to get my daughter to bed. Only because out of frustration and me saying things and getting frustrated, and then she was very upset, and it was the first time, it was the first time, I don't know why this is, I gotta turn this down. It's really frustrating me. It's like, I don't understand how people can do this. Trying to see me, but you can't see anything what I'm doing, so it's fucking stupid. Sorry for my language, but I'm just so frustrated. Oh my gosh. I had a really bad night getting my daughter to bed. I'm so tired of her attitude and just the way she speaks to me at times. I know. Or, I don't know. I don't even want to. Oh. But she sometimes says, she talks about her day at school and she'll say, oh, mommy, today Annika gave me that face. Or she gave me that look. And it's like this look where her friends will go like this. Like they'll just scowl and frown. And it's a face that Mila does now. She never used to do it, but when school first started back in September, like right at the very beginning, when she was just getting to know her classmates, this girl Annika did this look. And she was telling me, she's like, Annika, she's not really nice. She always kind of looks at me and then she does that, she showed me the face. And then shortly after, I noticed when Mila would get mad, she would look at me like that. I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? I said, that's the face that you said that Annika gives to you. Like, why are you doing that now? So it's become this ugly habit. She's always pulling the face. And so I was trying to get her, and every night I put her to bed, it's always like so easy. But tonight was just, it turned out pretty bad because I don't even, like my brain, I wish I could remember so I could tell you like, this is what she said and this is what happened. But I don't even remember what was going on. And then I was like, hey Mila, just get in bed. And she's like, I know. And the way she said, whatever it was that she said exactly, it just set me off. And I was like, and then, yeah, it does make me feel ashamed of like how I handled the situation. But in that moment, I was just like, you know what, Mila? You give mommy attitude, and then this is how I react. And then I was saying like, and guaranteed, your friends are not, it's not just them. It's not just that they're just looking at you like that. I said, you probably talk to them in that way. You probably give them dirty looks. You probably, and I was just like going off. I was like, and if you're going to keep this up, you're not going to have friends. Friends aren't going to want to play with you. Friends aren't going to want to be your friend. And I could feel myself in that moment as I'm saying all this. I kept telling myself, like this little voice in my head was like, shut up. Why am I still going? Why am I still, my daughter's 5, oh, not even 5, she's 4. And I'm just like, you know, and she was, obviously she got upset. Well, first it was like, not just like, oh, I'm sad. And like, it was like, she like rolls over, she goes right up against the wall. And that's not the first time. She's done that a few times now. And I was still, as much as I knew I was in the wrong and I shouldn't have taken it that far by saying all these things to her, but I still didn't stop. I was like feeling bad. I knew I was like, because I was telling myself, okay, stop, whoa, stop. But now I see her roll over and I was like, okay, fine, good night, I love you. I'm not gonna like waste any more time. Just, you have a bad attitude, fine. And I knew even with saying that, obviously, because it's not the first, these little things have come up before a few times. And as I was like, you know, putting the blankets on and dimming the light and kind of taking my time, just waiting for her to say something. And sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes I'll even leave the room and then I take a second and I'm like, okay, say a little prayer. Oh my gosh, sorry. Oh my gosh, help me. Like, and then I just had that, I always immediately feel bad. Like even in the moment of me doing this, like losing my mind, I feel bad. But sometimes I just can't stop myself. So I always will leave, and then I take a moment, and then I go back in, and I immediately go up to her, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I know I'm in the wrong. Mommy, sorry, and blah, 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 blah. We have this long talk, we hug it out. But anyways, before I even had a chance to leave, she's like, no. She was still mad, but she's like, no, don't go. And I'm like, okay. I said, I won't go. I said, can mommy give you a hug? And I was trying to say I'm sorry, and then she rolls back over, and I said, okay, Mila, I said, mommy will just hug you from behind then. I said, I just need you to know that I love you and I'm sorry. And she kept going like this, like, I don't want you touching me, I don't want your hands on me. And I was like, she's never done that before. She's never shrugged me off like that. She's never, what did she say? She even said that I was stressing her out. She's like, I'm so full of stress, and I was really stressed. I was stressed out today at school. And it made me think, because I tell her, like, those are my words sometimes. And so whether she was actually feeling stressed out, or those are just, like, she's just copying my words, and it just made me feel really sick, though, because it made me feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm, like, ruining my child. I feel there is stress in my life, like, so much stress in my life that I do my best to, like, you know, be a good mom. And I know I'm a good mom, but I obviously make big mistakes, and I have lots of regret. I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't do that, or I wish I didn't. But anyway, I stayed with her though. I knew I couldn't just leave her. I just talked to her. I rubbed her back, and she told me, because I was asking her, because I didn't want to like pressure her, I didn't want to be like annoying. I want her to talk and feel she's telling me and talking to me on her own, not just because I'm like, tell me why you're sad, what's the matter, what did I do? Like, sure, I could do that, maybe she would tell me, but I try to just let her talk on her own and just give her that space, and I try to just be quiet and be, you know, just there. And I apologized, and I said, you know, mommy shouldn't have said those things to you. And she finally said, she said, it was because I told her that she's one day not going to have any friends, and that's what upset her. So I'm like, okay. I said, you're right. Of course, mommy did not mean that. You're always going to have friends because you are a kind person, and you're sweet, and you're funny, and you're fun to be with, and I said, everybody has moments. We all, you know, will give a dirty look, or we'll be a little mad, or we'll give attitude. And I said, you're not the only one. I said, Annika does that. Like, everybody does that. And I said, mommy should have said that. Of course, you're always going to have friends. But, you know, at the same time, I do feel like I have to tell her these things. I have, not to that extent. I don't want to be like saying it in a hurtful way. But I do say, you know, when you are, it's such a contrast between my older two with her, because my older two, when they were younger, they were, I'm not saying that my daughter, my young one right now, like Mila, I'm not saying she's not sweet, because she is. She just has a totally different personality. I mean, my older two, they have a different dad. Like, Caden and Micaiah, they have me and then their dad, Justin. Whereas Mila has me, but her dad is Dominic. And so, right there, that could be a big thing. It's just different. Like, Caden and Micaiah, they were really well behaved and just so easy. They played together. They were so sweet. I could take them places, and never once did they give me attitude. Even when they were teenagers, they didn't give me attitude. I mean, Micaiah never, ever, ever. Caden, as he got a little older and he was angry with me because I stayed in a relationship for too long, and then we had a couple fights. But overall, even Caden, like, but with Mila, she's, from the time she was little, she's been so sweet, but also so, like, that strong personality, very strong-willed, very feisty, and like she's so smart. Anyway, I had to tell her, I said, you know, Mila, you are, and I always try to build her up, but I also I have to help her. I have to try to tell her these things. I said, you know, I try to make it very clear, even though in those moments I might say stupid things and I'm not very kind, but then I rewind and I'm like, okay, let's go back to reality. Let's talk truth now. Like, Mommy's sorry, but here's the truth. You are a beautiful girl with a big heart. You're full of love. You're so kind to people. You're sweet. You know, you're so gentle even with Mommy. And even when I make mistakes, you always say, it's okay. And I said, you are such a loving, and you got a big heart. And I said, and your friends like you. They care about you too. Like, they want to hug you when you leave. I said, you have friends, and so that's never something to worry about. And I said, but to be a good friend, you also have to be kind. Yes, we're all going to have times where we're not always kind. And I said, but you have to just make sure you're mindful of that. Like, and that's what Mommy's trying to point out. When you give me attitude, because I can see it, I'm not making it up, you talk in a way that isn't very nice, and I'm certain if you can talk to me like that, there's times where maybe you've talked like that to your friends, and people don't like that, and you might not be aware of it. And I said, so try to think of that sometimes. Like, if you notice your friend giving you a dirty look, like that mean face, think, oh, did I look away? Did I do something? Did I say something maybe in a way that wasn't very nice? Anyway, so I try to talk to her. I try to just help her to understand, you know, what it means to be a friend. To have friends, but to be a friend. Oh, anyways, I'm so stressed out because I'm at this point. I had a conversation with my mom as I was driving to go pick up Mila. And I just hate that my mom is so blinded to what is going on with my sisters and I. And I'm not one to say, oh, it's not me at all. There's nothing wrong with me. Like, I'm perfect. It's all everyone else's fault. But when it comes to this exact situation with both of my sisters, I'm not saying I'm perfect. Of course not. Not saying that at all. Like, at all. But the way things happened and the patterns, like the ongoing, just the stuff that's been going on for like years. Like, one sister has been going on for a long time, but I always have to just ignore the things that bother me and try to accept her for who she is. Because yes, I get that. I understand, you know, to be that type of person, to accept, you know, because we're not perfect. No one's perfect. So we all have our stupid little annoyances or little quirks or little, and that's different though. Then there's the hurt, and there's hurt that she's, and again, I need to make a video about this so I can actually explain what really happened and what's going on. But so I got one sister, it's just been like a lot of like history of just hurt. And then my other sister who I live with, my younger sister, we never had problems up until I moved here. And it became like, wow, I didn't realize it was going to be like this. I didn't realize her and her husband were going to just, I moved here thinking I was going to be close to family. I was going to have help. And not with high expectations of help, but just be around family and have Mila get to know like her auntie and her uncle, and, you know, I can go upstairs and maybe have a dinner, or I can say, hey, like, and not just expect that they're gonna cook for me. Like occasionally, like, we can be like, hey, you want to have dinner together? Like, what do you want to have? What can you bring? Like I don't ever say, and I've never had that expectation of like, oh, how dare you guys never cook for me. Like, of course not. I would always, and there's so many times that I would cook food because it's just for Mila and I, but she barely eats, so I always felt like I had food, and I'd call my sister or text her and be like, hey, I made a big fried rice. Do you want to come down and have some? Hey, I made a lasagna. Do you want to come, you and Kayra come and have some? Or like whatever it is that I made. There's been more than a few times like that I've offered her to come down to grab some food, and she never comes and just sits and has dinner with me. She'll just get some food and go back upstairs, and even that I always felt was kind of weird. I mean, it bugged me, but it didn't, because sometimes I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't have to like sit and visit, whatever, just eat quick and get on with my evening. But it's just a very weird situation, and that I was not expecting at all. Anyways, and I can go on, like there's more. Like these little things that I'm bringing up is really just like the small parts. But my mom, and to even explain any of this, it won't make sense, but my mom, I really wish she would just say, you know what, I understand what you're going through, and I do agree that was a little bit wrong, or it should have been handled differently. Shane maybe should apologize. I mean, yeah, we can't force somebody to apologize, but I just wish he had, like, those people who just can't apologize. It's almost like they're kind of stuck in their way. They're kind of old-fashioned, or you think of like those old men that lived in a different time, right? And they don't feel like they need to apologize. I'm a man, I don't need to apologize. That's how Shane is. And how hard would it be just to say, hey Melissa, you know what? The way that I came down and I handled that situation, yes, I was frustrated. Yes, I was pissed off that your daughter is hitting my daughter. And yeah, my 4-year-old is hitting his 12-year-old. There's a huge difference in age. But I still understand that that's going to bother him. And I'm not excusing Mila for hitting Kaveri. Of course it's wrong, and I tried I never let Mila get away with it. I'd always talk to her, and there'd be a consequence. But anyway, the way he handled it, and the way he got mad, as soon as I tried to say, he came down, I acknowledged, I said, yes, Shane, I know my daughter's doing that. No, it's not all right. I do obviously try to talk to her and try to help, and to fix the problem and to stop it from happening again. But what more? I can't, I don't know what to say, but I'm not just letting her get away with it. And then the moment I said anything, but here's the thing, it's not just my daughter. I obviously have ears and eyes. I can see things when they're out there playing. I could hear your daughter as well. She's kind of provokes these situations, or she's a little bit of an instigator. She kind of, as soon as I said anything like that, he was like, oh, that's, and it became so stupid. His body was like, and I'm like, and I stood up and I'm like, hey Shane, you know what? My daughter's in the room. I don't want her hearing this. We're not getting anywhere. You obviously just want to come down and tell me what needs to be done. But in the moment I try to talk to you about if you want to have a conversation and we want to talk about it and try to fix the problem, then I'm all for it. But if it's just about you coming down here telling me that that's wrong and that's wrong, then it just seems so stupid. So I just said, can you just go? And then he got pissy and he went up and he grabbed all my stuff from my floating pool stuff that was on their trampoline, and he grabbed it all and threw it down in my area, and at that time said, you're no longer, this is your area, you can't go up there anymore. And the whole thing became, it wasn't cool. It was really heated, and then that was it. That was the end. I haven't talked to Shane since, and that was back in September. The last time I tried to talk with my sister, I said, I don't have an issue with you. I don't have a problem with you. Yes, we have our own stuff that's, since I've moved here, I've had my own feelings towards things and whatever. And I said, but with this incident, It doesn't have to like destroy us. Like, and basically we didn't go anywhere with that. She basically just let me know that Shane's her husband and she's backing him 100%. She's on his side. And part of me was like, I'm not expecting you to not be on your husband's side. But as your sister, yes, I know your husband's he's gonna come first. I get that. I respect that. But as your sister and as, you know, we live here, how hard would it to just be like, hey Shane, like, I know it's frustrating and I know, you know, but I don't want it to escalate. I don't want things to get bad, like worse, go from bad to worse and like not even have a relationship with my sister. Do you think maybe you can just apologize just for the way that was handled? Because that was a bit heated and that's it. At least say something. But no. And so her and I don't talk. And anyway, I'll probably explain this whole situation again, going more in depth, or maybe not. I have no idea. Again, here I go, just rambling. I am here with like wet laundry everywhere because I have to hang it all. I did a load of laundry. Okay, so before I move on, quickly, I called my mom today and basically she just sees it like, it's like this even playing field in her eyes. She's like, Melanie's done wrong, Missy's done wrong, and so have you. And when I say to my mom, like what I said to her on the phone, I said, no, Mom, Melanie's done wrong, Misty's done wrong. Obviously we all have done wrong, yes, in our life with things. But I'm just talking about the situation and the things that have bothered and hurt me and what I tried to talk about, when I tried to mend and make better. But I'm not about to keep sweeping everything under the rug. I just wanted to talk about it. I want to have like them being accountable, own up and just say, hey, you know what, that was shitty of me and I am sorry. But my mom tries to say that we're all in the wrong, that you've made mistakes too, Melissa, and you've said and done things. And I'm like, and I know it sounds like, oh, Melissa's gonna sit here and say she's perfect. And I know, I'm certain when I was on that phone call, my mom was probably like, holy, Melissa thinks she's like perfect and she's like, her shit don't stink. And the truth is when it comes to this situation, pretty much yes. I know it sounds like, give your head a shake, but no, like and that's why I want to make a video to explain everything, the way I've been hurting, what I've been feeling. I have tried to talk, I've tried to communicate, I've tried to, you know, and I reached this point today after having this conversation with my mom, just realizing, and I've realized it before, but, you know, still just hoping that she'll come around. But I just realized, you know, she's not going to come around. She's not going to understand. And I feel like the only person, and to be honest, I don't know how my sisters feel, but they have husbands in their lives, and, you know, it just feels like, for me, I think I'm feeling it the most. And I could be wrong, maybe they're feeling it really shitty like too, but for me, I feel I've been hurt, and here I go, I'm still hurting because I am a single mom, so I don't have a partner that I could just talk to and just be like, oh, let's get my mind off of it, I'm just gonna focus on my own little family. And I just feel so isolated and I don't have anybody to talk to, and so I am feeling sad and stressed about it and wondering, because there's 3 of us. But here I am. No, there's 3 of us. Here I am over here though. I'm like over here by myself. My other 2 sisters, they have each other. They can talk. They can call each other. They can text. They can share what's going on in their lives. They can, you know, they have each other now. I'm the one that's over here and feeling like a piece of shit and looking at them like, basically like, fuck you. Like, you guys couldn't even like, do I not matter at all? you would rather just not talk to me anymore and just accept, oh, Melissa doesn't, she's put her boundaries up. Well, okay, that's her doing. She's the angry one. She's the one that's wants nothing to do with us. Well, her loss. But it makes me feel like, does it not matter to you guys? Like, all I wanted was for you guys to see what was hurting me and just maybe say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's make it better. Let's, And so with my mom not being able to see that, it's hard to be around my mom. And I know she'd be like, oh, now what? What are you going to do, Melissa? You're punishing me? You're going to punish me and not have anything to do with me and not let me see Mila? And I know she'll twist it as though I'm punishing her. But for me, it's like, I can't. And it's really hard and awkward because I am in this house. But one day I want to be out of this house, in my own place, and not have to see them anymore. And if they want anything to do with me, they can just come, reach out to me, and let's talk about it. But as long as I'm here in this house and still hearing and seeing, and I can't use the yard, and it's just a really awkward and stressful situation, and I'm feeling stuck because financially, and I'm in school, I don't have time to start packing my place and, you know, looking for a home. And that's the thing that's hard when you're looking for a house. It's like it might be available and you might like it, but it's available the next month. So you have like, and for me to like pack up while I'm in school, like, it's just too much. So and then the thought of not having my mom in my life, if I really was like, I don't want to talk to Melanie, Misty, or you, Mom, because none of you understand what I'm going through. None of you, I don't feel like anyone can hear me. It's not like we're all just the same and that we're all in the wrong and that we all need to apologize. It's not. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to just be like, okay, like, something has to happen. Something has to be different than what it has been. It's not good for me. It stresses me out. It makes me feel really out of place in my family. Even when things are good, it never felt genuine and like a real, it's always just felt surface level. And I don't know, I've been talking for like 30 minutes and I have all these clothes that are just soaking into my couch now. But it's so annoying. I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know what I'm doing. I wish life wasn't so expensive. I wish I could just go find something. I wish I didn't have so much stuff, so moving would be easier. I wish I had a husband. I wish I had... Anyway, I did a load of laundry last night and I forgot about it. So I have a washing machine, I have a dryer that's never worked even when I first moved here, but I've always went upstairs and used my sister's dryer. That was just how it used to be. But obviously I don't use her dryer anymore. So I've been hanging on my clothes, which I actually prefer, but I try to do laundry a little bit more often. So it's like a small to medium load, not a large load. And when I forgot my wash and I forgot to hang it up last night, it sat in my washing machine and I thought about it in the morning, like this morning, but then I was in school and I had a test and then I was just busy writing and getting my essay started, which I'm probably going to write about family, the dysfunctions of family. But and then I thought, oh my gosh, I got my laundry, it's still sitting in my washing machine. So I sat there all day until like it was dinner and I was like, we ate and the meal was in the shower and then I was like, oh my gosh, I had more laundry to put in. So I thought, you know what? There's no sense taking the wash out and hanging it. It's been sitting there all day, like since last night. So I thought I'm just gonna add the more dirty clothes and put a little bit more soap in, wash it again. So that means I have an even bigger load now because I added more to it. So here I am I have hangers. I don't even know if I'm gonna have enough hangers to hang everything. I have my drying rack in Mila's room because it always seems to be a little bit warmer in there. But I gotta go do that. And then I gotta sit down on my computer and I gotta start writing my essay. I brainstormed a bunch today, different topics. I did have a few different things because I wasn't sure for sure if I wanted to write about my family. Yeah. And then hopefully after that I'll have some time to maybe edit a video because I feel like I'm getting really behind. But I'm gonna go now because I have stuff to do. So many clothes. Stay. Okay, so I just hung all my laundry. I really did have a lot of laundry. I need to remember when I get laundry starting to fill up a little bit in that basket, I gotta do a load because I don't like having to stand here. My back suddenly hurts now from just laundry, from just putting it on hangers. Oh, the flash just came on. Anyways, there's my rack. Put some pants and my t-shirt over there, hung my jean shorts up there, and then got everything across that. So, time to do some schoolwork now.